All right, I can find the absolute value notes. Absolute value. And what's the key word when we're talking about absolute value? There's a very, very big word that represents absolute value, Austin. Distance. And it's distance from one number to another. Sometimes you'll be finding the distance from 0 to 8, from 0 to negative 8. Sometimes you'll be finding the distance from 8 to negative 4. Sometimes you'll be asked to find the distance from negative 2 to negative 10. So it doesn't have to be the distance from 0. When we talk about distance, remember, you are not allowed to travel a negative distance. You cannot travel a negative distance. It is impossible. Even if you walk backwards 5 feet, you're walking backwards in a positive direction. You're just walking backwards. Or if you walk sideways, that's not like a plus and a minus. You're just walking sideways. So please remember that. You cannot travel a negative distance. It's impossible to do. Unless Back to the Future, Marty McFly. You guys have never watched Back to the Future? Okay, good. Well, Back to the Future, if you guys get a DeLorean and you travel back to the year 1965, or 55, then I guess technically you can travel a negative distance. But until that happens, there is no way you can travel a negative distance. With that being said, all of our answers will have a positive value. Sean. VHS? No, we don't do extra credit.
No, I mean for the movie.
Yeah, watch the movie. It's a good one.
I did watch it on VHS.
Oh, good. So did I. All right. Mount Kilimanjaro. And I'm not sure how to spell Mount Kilimanjaro, so I'm going to try my best. Mount Kilimanjaro, like the very, very top, which is called the summit, is 34,688 feet above sea level. The Mount Fuji Trench. You guys know what a trench is? Yeah. It's underwater. It's like a big canyon. It's like a big canyon underwater. Like a big hole in the ocean floor. And Mount Fuji Trench is 26,351 feet below sea level. And my question to you is this: which one is the farthest from 0. Is Mount Kilimanjaro's summit farthest from 0, or is the Mount Fuji trench base farthest from 0? So what we have to do is take Mount Kilimanjaro and find the absolute value. Now, if Mount Kilimanjaro is 34,688 feet above sea level, how would I write that as an integer, Lizzie? How do I write 34,688 feet above sea level as an integer? Corey? Very good. 34,688. Now let's take a look at the Mount Fuji Trench. How would I write 26,351 feet below sea level as an integer? Sean?
Negative 26,351.
Very good. Breezy, what is the absolute value of 34,688? How far from 0? What is the distance from 0 to 34,688?
34,688.
Selena, what is the absolute value of negative 26,351? Which one is the farthest from 0? So which one of these is the greater number, Dustin?
34,688.
So our answer would be Mount
Kilimanjaro.
Kilimanjaro is farthest from sea level, because sea level is 0. So let's just try some other basic arithmetic problems. So with number 2, I'm asking you to find the absolute value of 15 minus 9. Now, the first thing that we have to do, because the subtraction problem is inside the brackets, this requires us to perform the subtraction problem before we can take the absolute value. In other words, Zoe, what's 15 minus 9? And Madeline, what's the absolute value of 6? 6. Good. Whoops. Now watch this. So now we're going to do the absolute value of 15 plus the absolute value of 9. What's the absolute value of 15? 15. What's the absolute value of 9? And what's 15 plus 9? Avery? 24. Ooh, look at that problem. That looks nasty. But what we do here is we need to do everything step by step. I know it looks overwhelming, but it's not. Let's just start with negative 8. And what's the absolute value of negative 8, Bree? 8. What's the absolute value of 11, Robin?
11.
And what's the absolute value of negative 5, Maddie?
5.
Nothing difficult there. Figured out what the absolute value of negative 8 was, wrote it down. Bring down the addition sign. Absolute value of 11, well, that's easy, that's 11. Bring down the subtraction sign. Absolute value of negative 5, that's easy, it's 5. Now let's do the arithmetic. What's 8 plus 9? 8 plus 9. 8 plus 11, Brooke.
19.
And what's 19 minus 5, Julian? 14. Yeah. See, these aren't too bad. Aren't too bad at all. So for number 5, I'm recording.
10.
Ooh, look at this. Oh, this is a level 4 question. Maybe we have to use number lines. We haven't talked about this yet. If I have 24 negatives and I add to that 15 positives, what's our sum, Cody? Negative what? Well, 15 plus 14 is 29. Nope. Julian.
You make the 24 positive and change the addition sign to a subtraction sign.
So what's negative 24 plus 15?
9.
It's not 9. Dustin?
11.
No, it's not 11. Cody? Negative 39? No.
Ooh, wait.
Sean?
It is 39.
It is not 39. Bree?
Negative 9?
It's negative 9.
So how do we
24 minus 15. We have to subtract these because the signs are different. So we borrow 10. 14 minus 5 is 9. And it's negative because we have more negatives than positives. And the absolute value of negative 9 is 9.
You're just recording the
Which letter has a greater absolute value? Is it going to be A or is it going to be B? Which has the greater absolute value? Well, Mr. Meeks, you didn't give me any numbers. You don't need any numbers. Think about what absolute value means. Alexis. B? Okay. How many people think B? 1, 2, 3. Whoop. If you think B is the answer, how many people think B? Raise your hand. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. How many people think A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Alexis, you said B. Why do you think B has the greater absolute value?
It's closer to 0.
Okay, because it's closer to 0. Brooke, why did you say A? Greater means bigger. Bigger means farther. So the absolute value of A is farther from 0. Right? You would agree that letter A is farther than 0. Alexis is right. B is closer to 0, which makes it smaller. Because think about it. Let's give B a value. What integer do you want to make B? You can make B whatever integer you want. What? 10. Well, it can't be 10 because it's to the left of 0.
-1.
Shh, Alexis. Good, -10. I like that. So if B is -10, what could letter A be? Alexis, what could letter A be? -50. Now, if I take the absolute value of -50, I'm going to get 50. If I take the absolute value of -10, I'm going to get 10. Which one is greater? 50 is greater, so the answer is A.
It's like you're asking someone would you rather have 50 cents or 10.
Right, I'd rather have 50 cents, personally.
I got a quarter on the floor.
All right, time to do a few practice problems. All right. This is our practice for today. There's those darn number lines again.
Find the distance from
They don't go away. So notice in number 4, what this is going to require you to do is you're going to have to figure out how many steps does it take to go from negative 16 to 8. You're going to have to figure out how many hops so that we can figure out what we're counting by. So you're going to have to use the steps divided by hops method, just like we did with the last test. And then number 5 is going to be the challenge.
So do we have to do number 5?
Yes, for sure. Did everybody get number 1 and 2 copied down? No?
Yeah.